program. Well, Ed Pilkington is calling it out over at theguardian.com. The title, U.S. corporations gave more than $8 million to election deniers' midterm campaigns. He notes that some of the best-known corporations in America, including AT&T, Boeing, Delta Airlines, and Home Depot, collectively poured more than $8 million into supporting election deniers running for the U.S. House and Senate. At the top of that list of 20 corporations backing election deniers was Koch Industries. Surprise, surprise. Right behind them, the American Crystal Sugar Company PAC, the AT&T Inc. Employee Federal PAC, Home Depot Inc. PAC, Comcast Corporation and NBC Universal PAC, and Delta Airlines. These are in donations to election deniers, to people who actively worked to subvert our democracy. Boeing released a statement, he notes, days after the insurrection, in which it said, quote, "We strongly condemn the violence, lawlessness, and destruction that took place in the U.S. Capitol." And then, they gave $418,000 to support Republican candidates who participated or endorsed that activity. Boeing declined to comment, Ed notes. Derek Van Orden, who won a close race to represent a swing district in Wisconsin with backing from Koch Industries, was a former Navy SEAL. He was actually inside the Capitol grounds on January 6th, part of the insurrection. He will now be a member of Congress from Wisconsin. And Scott Perry, who received his support from the Kochs, from AT&T, from Boeing, and other corporations, according to Ed Pilkington in today's Guardian, actually reached out to Donald Trump to get a presidential pardon, as did Marjorie Taylor Greene and several others. And again, this is the kind of thing where if a Democrat had done that, if Democrats had tried to get pardons from Barack Obama for things that they did while they were in office, you would never hear the end of it. But, Democrats are basically not all that into grievance politics. Instead, Democrats would prefer to talk about the fact that, President Biden unsnarled the supply chains. Remember, he actually changed the laws at the Port of Long Beach and some of our other ports on the West Coast with regard to how quickly ships could be unloaded and things to undo those to fix those supply chains. He saved Americans with hearing loss up to $3,000 on hearing aids by making them over-the-counter products. He ended the junk fees that cost Americans literally billions that your banks hit you with that you don't even know about. He took on Big Pharma and he won. He capped out-of-pocket prescription drugs costs at $2,000 a year for people on Social Security or on Medicare, excuse me. He capped insulin at $35 per prescription for seniors on Medicare. He tried to do it for the whole country, but couldn't get that through, couldn't get that past the Republicans. He lowered insurance health premiums by $800 annually for Americans who buy it through the Affordable Care Act. That's a mind-boggling thing. He rebuilt America's infrastructure. We're rebuilding our roads and bridges. We're investing in passenger rail and public transit. We're expanding affordable high-speed internet for all Americans, particularly out in rural areas, which you would think that they would be grateful, but no, they still hate Biden because he's a Democrat. We're removing all the lead pipes in America with the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, this is a big deal. This is going to give us a generation of Americans who are not brain damaged by lead poisoning. He worked with Republicans to make more money in America by passing the CHIPS and Science Act. And to make more products in America, investing in semiconductor manufacturing and cutting-edge technologies, good-paying jobs. He passed the first meaningful gun safety legislation in more than 30 years, removing firearms from dangerous individuals, the red flag laws, expanding mental health services in schools, supporting school safety, and narrowing the boyfriend loophole to keep guns out of the hands of convicted dating partners. We're making progress. We've got 10 million jobs created by Joe Biden. Unemployment is at record lows, including for Black and Hispanic Americans. More small businesses launched than ever before this year. He rallied the world in defense of Ukraine in the face of Putin's aggression. No tax increases whatsoever on people making under $400,000 a year. He kept that promise. And meanwhile, what are Republicans up to? Well, they're proposing a nationwide ban on abortion. They're trying to put Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block, and they're trying to raise costs on Americans by repealing the Inflation Reduction Act. Brilliant, right? Just brilliant stuff.